everyone. Welcome back. Get ready, because today we're diving deep into the world of the ancient Maya. And let me tell you, we've got some seriously fascinating stuff to unpack. We're talking lost cities, incredible inventions, and yeah, we'll even touch on those alien theories that always seem to pop up when we talk about the Maya.
It's like their civilization is a giant puzzle with pieces that just shouldn't fit, but somehow they do.
Exactly, and that's what we're here to explore. But before we go full-on ancient aliens, we've got to lay the groundwork. What made the Maya so unique, even without all the extraterrestrial theories? I mean, imagine this. Building a civilization in the middle of the rainforest, no metal tools, no wheels, no horses for heavy lifting. Could you do it?
It's mind-boggling when you think about it.
Yeah.
The Maya were basically working with Stone Age technology, yet they achieved things that still baffle us today.
Right. They didn't just survive in the jungle, they thrived. They built these massive cities, came up with their own writing system and their knowledge of math and astronomy, light years ahead of their time. Let's talk about their writing first. This wasn't just some basic symbols on cave wall stuff. This was a sophisticated system of hieroglyphs.
Absolutely. They were recording their history, their beliefs, even complex astronomical calculations, all in these intricate symbols.
And the way they tracked the stars, it's unbelievable. We're not just talking about the sun and moon here. They were charting the movements of planets like Venus. And get this, they figured out its entire cycle over thousands of years.
And their calendar system? Incredibly complex, incredibly precise. It's like they had a completely different understanding of time itself.
And don't even get me started on their math. They were using a base 20 system, which, if you think about it, is way more complex than our base 10. And, here's the kicker, they had the concept of zero, centuries before it appeared in Europe. So we have this civilization, incredibly advanced for their time, with knowledge that seems almost impossible to have acquired with their limited resources. And that's where things get really interesting, and maybe a little alien.
It's hard to look at some of their achievements and not wonder, did they have a little help from somewhere else?
Exactly. And trust me, we're about to get into some of those theories that'll really make you think. It's like they had access to knowledge that was way ahead of their time. And that brings us to the ancient alien theories.
Which I have to admit are pretty hard to ignore when you start digging into some of the evidence.
Right. And we're going to dig in. So let's start with something big, literally. The colossal Olmec heads.
Ah, yes. Those giant stone heads scattered throughout Mesoamerica. They are truly awe-inspiring.
Seriously, some of them weigh over 50 tons. And it's not just their size, it's those helmets. They look so modern.
A lot of people compare them to astronaut helmets, actually.
I can totally see why. Now, mainstream archaeology says they probably represent helmets worn by ball players or warriors, but
But it's hard to deny the resemblance to something more high-tech, like something you'd see in a sci-fi movie.
Exactly. And speaking of things that seem out of a sci-fi movie, we've got to talk about King Pakal's sarcophagus lid. This one's a classic in the ancient alien world.
It's the Rosetta Stone of ancient astronaut theory, some would say. Found in Palenque, deep inside a pyramid.
Buried under tons of rubble. And when they finally lifted that lid, what did they find? A scene that looks for all the world like a guy in a spaceship.
Now, the traditional interpretation is that it depicts King Pakal descending into the underworld, which, to be fair, was a big part of Mayan belief.
Sure, but come on, look at the details. He's got his hands on what look like controls, his feet are on pedals, and he's surrounded by all these tubes and gadgets. There's even a researcher, Paul Francis, who created a 3D model of the sarcophagus lid, interpreting it as a spacecraft. And let me tell you, the details are mind-blowing.
It definitely makes you wonder if the ancient Maya saw something in the sky, something they couldn't explain, and incorporated it into their art and mythology.
That's what I'm thinking. And it's not just the Olmec heads and King Pakal's sarcophagus. We see these hints of advanced technology and otherworldly beings throughout Mayan art and mythology, like the feathered serpent god, Kukulkan.
Kukulkan, kind of Coatl, it appears in various forms across Mesoamerican cultures. This idea of a serpent descending from the sky, bringing knowledge and civilization.
Right. And I've always wondered, if someone who had never seen a helicopter before tried to describe it, wouldn't they say it looks like a giant metal bird, maybe even a serpent?
It's an interesting thought. What if those feathered serpents, those sky gods, were just ancient interpretations of something they'd seen in the sky, something they couldn't quite grasp?
Right. It makes you think about all the things in our universe, things we haven't discovered yet, that would probably blow our minds if we ever encountered them. And how about that Mayan calendar? The one that supposedly predicted the end of the world back in 2012.
Yeah, that caused quite a stir. though it was really more of a misinterpretation of what the Maya believed.
So, set the record straight. What did the Maya believe about time and the end of the world?
Well, they didn't see it as linear like we do, with a beginning and an end. For them, it was cyclical, like a circle, always renewing itself.
So no apocalypse, no fire and brimstone.
Not quite. The end of a cycle wasn't an end, but a transition, a new beginning. Their calendar system, especially the long count, reflects this. It maps out huge chunks of time, way beyond a human lifespan.
Okay, but what about 2012? That was a big deal, right?
It was the end of a cycle, yes, what they called a baktun. But not the end of everything. Think of it more like, say, the end of a season.
So all the hype about December 21st, 2012, that was just a big misunderstanding?
Pretty much. The Maya never said the world would end on that date. What's interesting is that the end of that baktun coincided with a rare astronomical event, was called the galactic alignment.
Sounds intense. What is that exactly?
Basically, the December solstice sun lines up with the galactic equator, the plane of our Milky Way galaxy. Happens every 26,000 years or so.
Wow, the Maya knew about this.
It seems so. And they factored it into their calendar. Talk about astronomical knowledge. They were tracking cycles spanning thousands of years with nothing but their eyes and their minds. It's really incredible.
That's mind-blowing, and it makes you wonder what else they might have known.
Absolutely. Recent discoveries at places like Tortuguero and Comocalco suggest the Maya saw the end of the baktun not as a terrifying end, but as a time of change, a powerful deity returning.
So 2012 wasn't the end of the world, but maybe a new chapter?
Exactly. And those inscriptions, they add another layer to the mystery. It's like they're saying, there's more to the story, keep looking.
And that's what we have to do. Every time we dig deeper into the Mayan civilization, we find more questions than answers. They were incredible astronomers, mathematicians, artists. It makes you wonder what else they were capable of.
I think that's a good place to leave it for today. The Maya, they left us with more than just ruins and artifacts. They left us with a sense of wonder. A challenge to keep exploring, to keep questioning.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, to everyone listening, do your own research. Check out the images of King Pakal's sarcophagus, the Olmec heads, the Mayan calendar, and who knows, maybe you'll uncover a piece of the puzzle that we missed. Until next time, keep exploring.